Welcome again. Today we will be discussing about several type of the reactions of the carbohydrates and among uh, the important reactions, uh, the oxidation reactions we will discussing today. Oxidation reactions, then the reduction reactions, also zone formation reactions, any diol reaction. For any diol reactions, we have discussed in the previous lecture as well. We have started with some of the basic concepts for the any diol type of the reaction. Uh, so all the aldehyde and the ketone type of the monosaccharide that undergoes the oxidation type of the reaction, forming several kind of the acids, and these reaction that undergoes under the mild condition, that may undergo under the harsh condition such as the HNO3, using the HNO3, and under the mild condition, boric acid or some of the alkaline medias that can be used. So under that condition, these monosaccharides that get oxidized, and several kind of the products that are formed during that process. So we will be first of all discussing the oxidation type of the reactions when the monosaccharides that we have discussed earlier, that undergoes the oxidation process, the aldehyde group on that monosaccharide that is actually converted into the corresponding carboxylic acids group. So look at this one. This is the basically uh, the aldehyde group. Look at this one. This is the aldehyde group. This is the aldehyde group, and upon oxidation, that is converting into COOH, into carboxylic acid group. So aldehyde, upon oxidation, they turned into carboxylic acid, and that can be confirmed through the uh, conversion of the cuprous into the cupric form. So normally copper sulfate that is used for testing this kind of the conditions. On the other hand, uh, for the reduction process that is opposite to the oxidation type of the process, the carbonyl groups in the form of the aldo group that is actually converted into an alcohols upon the reduction process. So what is the difference between the oxidation and the reduction? The oxidation that results in the formation of the carboxylic acid, and on reduction that is the net final product that will be an alcohol, sugar alcohol we normally call that. So when we compare the oxidation process and the reduction process, the products in the oxidation product that is sour in taste, but in case of the reduction process, the outcome is the sweet product, just as glucitol, sorbitol, these are the sweet product that is produced by the reduction process. So xylose that can be converted into the xylitol, glucose that can be converted into the glucitol or the sorbitol, and you can see that the ol is the ending. It means there is the formation of alcohol. So once that reduce, these are less reactive and comparatively have low absorption. Another process reactions that undergoes these monosaccharide that undergoes, that is the formation esterification process, esterification type of the reactions. Normally an acid chloride or acid anhydride that can be added to an alcohol to form an ester. These are the sugar alcohol we are talking about, or the simple monosaccharide unit. So one of the good example for that is available in the international market, not in the Pakistan. That is the formation of the substituents to form a surfactants. One of the product that is called as the olestra. That is basically a pseudo type of the fats material, pseudo that is not getting absorbed. So we can use it as a fat replacer. So esterification process, esterification reaction, that is also very important, especially in the formation or modification of the fatty acid that is actually produced from the sugar modification process. Then dimerization process, dimerization reaction, that is again important, an alcohol that can be added to the alcohol of hemiacetal. So most often that is involving some of the dehydration process and the alpha type of the sugars, beta type of the sugar that can be used in that process. Talking about whether some analytical processes on the basis of the sugars that can be detected as the reducing sugar or the non-reducing sugar. We are using the copper sulfate test, failing solution that is normally called as the failing solution test, in which the copper sulfate is used. So we have talked about this maltose structure and maltose, sucrose, as well as the lactose. Uh, Previously, we have discussed in several lectures. So these are the not new for you people. In the previous lecture, we have also discussed about the tree halos and its structures. Uh, so, before going on to the Browning type of the chemistry, that is a complex process, and we will be discussing into the next lectures as well. Uh, Starting with and these are very important for the from the point of view of the industry products. So what is the concern about that? What is the process that are involved? What is the nutrition safety concerns? uh, these are some of the important topics about the browning chemistries. So there are several types of the browning process: enzymatic browning, caramelization process, Maillard reaction, um, some of the lipid that are involved during that process. What is the common outcome? That is the generation of the larger molecular size polymers from the sugars, from the monosaccharides, and that leads to color formation. That is a starting point for certain type of the flavors. So a lot more application for these browning type of the reaction. So starting with the caramelization, normally the sugars, especially the reducing sugar, are more effectively used, that are heated to the 200 degrees centigrade with minimum moisture content, or sometimes the acid that may be used, some other salts that can be used. So 35 minutes heating, 4% moisture loss. Sucrose is normally used for commercial processes, and if the heating time is increased to 55 minutes, total 9% moisture loss that occur in sucrose dimerization and dehydration process that resulted in the caramelized product. Um, so there is a time temperature relationship, and the use of the component that is important for what type of the to detect what type of the caramelized product that is formed, and that is also affecting its properties, characteristics such as solubilization properties, color properties, flavor properties. And how that is differs from the Maillard reaction. Basically, in the caramelization reaction, we are only using the sugars. But in the Maillard reaction, that is a reaction between the amino group with the sugars. So, if you look at the chemistry, the carbonyl compound from the sugars and the amino group from the amino acid that react to form the melanidins. So in the Maillard Browning reaction, several type of the reactions that are involved. Formation of the N-glucosamine, glucose के साथ जो है amino group जब attach होते हैं, that is forming the glucosamine. Then this is the initial point that compound that generated that goes for amatory rearrangement. That's a complex process. Then the formation of the diketosamine. Uh, then the amatory product that is generated in the previous step, that is degraded into the smaller fragments. That is the point when the sweet flavor and the color that generate condensation and polymerization reaction that resulted in the color formation. So another type of the reaction that is most common, that is called as the Strecker degradation reaction. What is the example for that? If you look at the tea and the coffee process that involve the Strecker degradation for a specific flavor substances. So this is a reaction between the amine, dicarbonyl, and resulted in many different notes of the flavors. Nutrition because some of these reactions that is involving the amino acids, especially this lysine, this is amino acid, so there is a loss of some of the amino acid. And during that reaction, some of the mutagenic, carcinogenic, heterocyclic compound that can be produced. Same is the case with the antioxidant, there is a loss of the antioxidants. So there are several control steps rapidly accelerated by the temperature, pH. These are some of the control points. So that is also affected by the sugar types. Pentose greater than hexose, disaccharide, polysaccharide. So these are the reaction that is controlled by the sugar types, protein concentration, in sometimes the acid condition that is inhibiting because that have an effect on the proteins. Then sulfur dioxide that is inhibiting that kind of the process, especially the enzymatic type of the browning that is inhibited by the sulfur dioxide because sulfur dioxide that is acting as a poison for the enzymes. So that's all. Thank you.